The phrase the next Silicon Valley is often used to describe fast-growing tech startup hubs and with emerging entrepreneurial communities. But in Asia, which Asian city has come close to becoming the next Silicon Valley?
You're absolutely right. I think Silicon Valley is seen as the hub for entrepreneurship for technology. But entrepreneurship really expands more than technology, right? It is really entrepreneurship about meeting social needs. It's entrepreneurship about meeting kind of market needs in many different ways, and technology is one of them. So if you're just focusing on technology, and technology just does spill into some of these, the cities that come to mind, and I think it's not really my opinion only, it's been kind of written about quite a bit, is Seoul, Bangalore, and Singapore.
Well, I think there are quite a few cities in Asia that want to become the next Silicon Valley. It's hard to say which one, is come closest because they all have their own unique characteristics.
I think, almost every country aspires to be the next Silicon Valley. But in my view, I think Singapore probably will come, close and probably at the top of the list, followed by China and Japan.
What other ingredients need to go into the mix for entrepreneurs to come forth?
If you have a hub that's very inward-looking, if your domestic market is very big, that's fine. But if you really need to, for say a hub like Singapore, where our domestic market not that large, any startup that want to become very successful need to be able to sell outside Singapore. And that means you must have connections to the key market outside Singapore. And so the ecosystem that can provide you with that network connectivity will also be very important.
What has happened is we forget the fact that Silicon Valley was really created by the US government assistance. So it actually, years ago, it was really US government who played a big role, right, in jump-starting Silicon Valley. So a lot of resources went in there. You really need an ecosystem, for Silicon Valley type of situation to happen. But then you also need the capital, the risk capital.
So what elements of entrepreneurship can be taught?
That's an interesting question. I always say I guess I come from the camp that entrepreneurs are born, and it's one of those things where you will come out of the closet no matter what. But I think the reality is entrepreneurs can be also very easily unmade. Okay, so I think what I mean by that is the fact that what we're discussing earlier on is this whole notion of ecosystem, right? So if the right ecosystem is really not there, yes, you'll try to find ways, but at some point you may give up.
I think there are some things that can be taught. Some of the things I learned at INSEAD, getting my MBA, and the basic principles, foundation in finance, marketing, supply chain, statistics, all necessary to run a business. But I think there's a lot of things that you can't learn in business school, or any school for that matter, and you need to just get real life experience. For example, they don't teach you in business school how to sell, which might be the most important thing to learn as an entrepreneur. And I think there's no better way to learn than the hard way, going out and trying to sell, often getting rejected, and fine-tuning your pitch. So you have to sell to early employees. Why should they join your startup when you have nothing, no funding, no product? You have to sell to investors. Why should they give you money? And you have to ultimately sell to your customers and suppliers. So this is a skill that I think is only learned by the school of the hard knocks. Yeah.